Hey viewers and viewers, my name is General Red Strategist and welcome back to Say Being Hunted episode 501. So, our last episode, me and Phil of course did our mammoth 500th episode Q&A, which was fantastic. We really got through some really interesting questions actually on that one. Real variety as well, so thank you everybody who submitted questions for that. That was very, very interesting to actually just go through some of those and get some real interesting conversations. God, I've said the word interesting about freaking 5 or 6 times now already. Flipping vary your vocabulary, Red. Good lord. But yeah, nonetheless, it was a very, very good Q&A, and the two of us thoroughly enjoyed actually doing that. So we hope you guys enjoyed watching it as well. But now, of course, we're back to our usual standard Being Hunted fare, and of course, as you can probably guess, actually, from this episode title and all that, this is just a podcast-style episode, this one. I'm going to be just having a nice little relaxing chat. Probably going to do that, actually, for the next couple of episodes. I'll probably stick on this map in the meantime. But it's actually something quite interesting that I do want to talk about in this video. So, thing is, as when this episode goes out, it'll be sometime in early August. Sorry, not early August, what am I saying, good lord. Early September, that's what I'm trying to say. So, it'll be early September, but as when I record this, it is very, very late August. It's evening of Monday the 29th. And basically I just figured to myself I might record a couple of Sir episodes, get them, done, so they're ready to go into the upload queue and all that. And, those of you who obviously follow my channel fairly religiously, if you're subscribed and all that, well, actually, not just if you're subscribed, but probability is, earlier in August you will have seen I posted an announcement, which was just saying that I wasn't going to be uploading or publishing any videos on certain days, namely August 15th through to the 19th. And the reason for that is because August 15th to the 19th, myself and Phil actually went abroad. So, me and him have mentioned before how we wanted to have a trip over to Germany. Well, we actually did it, ladies and gentlemen. We went over to Munich. That's where we went to. Munich, of course, being a very historical German city with lots of tourist sites to actually see. So we figured, you know what, it's probably a good destination to go to, let's do it. So it was a really interesting little trip. It was really fun, lots of things to see and do. We really did a lot of walking just around the city, and we saw some incredible sights, really. So, thing is, so I'll just sort of give a rundown, really, of our itinerary in terms of what we actually did. So, obviously, we flew out on Monday, the 15th of August, in the morning, and we then basically got the U-Bahn and the S-Bahn to our hotel. So we actually stayed at a hotel not in Munich itself, but several miles outside in a small town called Olching. So Olching, is pretty sort of kind of standard small German town out in these, outside the cities and all that. So I went there, that's where we stayed at a hotel. It was about 17 minutes walk or so from the from Olching train station. Or S-Bahn station, I should say. So we did that was pretty good. And that first sort of Monday evening, we just sort of spent a bit of time just exploring the local area of Olching, just having a walk around, figuring out where things are. The only thing that was a bit of an inconvenience that first night was that we didn't realise this, but it was kind of like I think it was a holiday, a public holiday in Bavaria. I think something to do with Feast of the Assumption, and we didn't realise this, but that meant that a lot of places were actually closed. So we kind of were looking around thinking, oh god, where are we going to eat? Because none of the supermarkets or anything open, so we can't buy food from them. There was this one Asian restaurant that was open, but in the end we just ended up in friggin' McDonald's. And I must say, I feel like, of course, compared to British McDonald's, friggin' German McDonald's had so many more interesting options on its menu, which of course is not surprising because British McDonald's can be boring as hell. But hey, what can you do? So we ended up in McDonald's just for our evening meal the first night, which, we just did what we could, basically, in terms of getting food. So it was when we then got to Tuesday, the 16th of August, that was when we proper started exploring around, and we actually went into Munich itself and actually started looking at some of the sites. So what we did when we actually got onto Munich on that 16th of August, we started out just by walking around, We took a brief visit to the Frauenkirche, the Frau Church, however that translates in English. And yeah, that was an interesting place to go. Because the thing is, as a kid, I was never a big fan of like touring around churches and cathedrals. I was more into like medieval castles, things like that. But as I've got older, when I was kind of like a teenager and now as an adult, I actually quite like touring churches and cathedrals because I really admire the architecture in some of them. And so we went to the Frauenkirche, had a quick sort of look around there. Then we sort of explored up towards Odeonplatz, and we went to the Theaterkirche, which is an even more elaborate church. That one was pretty impressive, actually going inside and looking at just the internal decoration of it. Really fascinating stuff. And then the thing is, whilst we were at Odeonplatz, our visit basically coincided with the European Championships, the athletic championships. So whilst we were at Odeonplatz, we actually didn't realise it, but one of the women's race walking events was actually on at the time. So it was interesting to see kind of the setup for all that. And to see some of these athletes, going up and down doing the race walking and all that. But then after we'd seen that on the sort of Tuesday afternoon, myself and Phil went to the Residenz, which is a big old sort of Bavarian royal palace in the centre of Munich. Really impressive stuff in there, a lot of history, and it's just very ornate, as you'd imagine. It's like antechamber after antechamber of just ornate rooms and whatever else have you. Ornate room after ornate room, that's what I'm trying to say. So that was really great. It's always fascinating kind of touring through old sort of royal palaces like that, because I've been to sort of my share of royal palaces before, or former royal palaces I should say, whenever I've been abroad. And some of the most notable, for example, are some of like the old Russian palaces in places like Tsarskoye Selo, or Pushkin as it's known now. Is it Pushkin now? Yeah, it's called Pushkin now, isn't it? The village in Russia where the old Tsarist summer palace is located. Yeah, it used to be Tsarskoye Selo. I'll probably butcher the pronunciation, but I'm digressing, basically. So, Residenz. It was fascinating to go to, lots of history. It's one of those just things, though, because, there's so much information there. You just, you get sort of information oversaturated. So, you don't really retain a lot of the information you read about, but you do sort of maintain a lot of visual memories of the rooms that you're going through and all that. So that was fascinating. And then later on Tuesday, myself and Phil, we took the U-Bahn across towards the Englischer Garten, however you pronounce it, and we just explored a little bit of that. Largest sort of urban park, I think, in the world, if I'm not mistaken. If not the world, it was the largest urban park in Europe, something like that. It was fascinating, going exploring there, seeing like the sort of Chinese pagoda that they've got, things like that. So we didn't explore the entirety of the Englischer Garten, but we did explore a good portion of it. So that was fun, just as a way of kind of rounding off the day. And then, on Wednesday, the 17th, we basically took the S-Bahn and we went up to Dachau, to the concentration camp. And that was a boiling hot day, that was. So the thing is, we didn't realise this, but if you get off Dachau Hauptbahnhof, the sort of station, the main station in Dachau, we thought the walk to the concentration camp memorial site was only about 30 minutes at max. Turns out it was actually more like a 40-minute walk. And on top of that, it was quite hot. So by the time we got there, we were freaking sweating buckets. We should have taken the bus, because there is a bus service that goes from Dachau station to basically just outside the memorial site. So we took that obviously on the way back to the station at the end of our tour around Dachau. So we explored Dachau concentration camp memorial site, and the thing is, I always say, if ever you can sort of get the opportunity to go to a concentration camp memorial site, you should. Not because obviously it's an exciting place to go, but because it's one of those places to go which is a very serious and quite harrowing experience, and it is worth doing. Just to really see for yourself the kind of site where some of the most horrible things in history have happened, and you still have, I think, once you go to a site like a concentration camp memorial site, you really sort of appreciate some of the bad shit that happened in human history a bit more perhaps than you would do if you were just reading about it in a textbook. So I mean, technically, I've been to a concentration camp already before Dachau. In 2008, I went to Auschwitz-Birkenau with my A-level modern history course. You know, when I was just a teenager, when I was about 18 years old, or however old I was at the time. And but this is, Dachau was the second concentration camp I've ever been to, and Dachau, of course, is kind of significant because I think it's one of, if not the earliest of the concentration camps that was set up in Germany. And the thing is, yeah, like I say, it's a very harrowing experience because you get there, and unlike Birkenau, for example, there are large parts of it that are still intact, and you can still go into, like the old gas chambers. Because the thing is, like Birkenau, for example, there are parts of it that the Nazis dynamited when they were basically in full retreat back to Germany in sort of late 44, early 45. So, but Dachau, there's a lot of stuff still there. And the thing is, it's really harrowing reading. And at one point, reading about all the just the horrible stuff that happened there kind of does make your stomach turn. Like the worst bit for me was reading, for example, about medical experimentation on inmates that occurred. Yeah, there's some real messed up stuff that basically happened in Dachau. I mean, having said that, not that Dachau was unique in that regard. Messed up stuff happened in pretty much every concentration camp. But yeah, it just made my stomach turn a bit. So yeah, that was what we did on Wednesday. But the thing is, we did so much walking there, and because it was so hot, by the time that we finished Dachau and we got back to the hotel in sort of late afternoon, we decided we didn't really want to do anything else. We just wanted to relax in the hotel room after that. So we did that, and that was fine. And then on Thursday the 18th of August, we went back into Munich, and we went to the Deutsches Museum, which is a real big museum, predominantly themed around science and technology. Again, sort of in the heart of Munich. And that was great because, we were there for a good few hours just exploring most of the exhibits. And, there's some real good exhibits at the Deutsches Museum. There's a space exhibit, aviation, there's an exhibit on engineering, there's an exhibit on musical instruments, atomic physics, all kinds of stuff. So we just went around and explored. We didn't explore all of the exhibits just because, we were there for so long, we couldn't get around all of them. But we did explore the space exhibit, we explored the aviation one, musical instruments, we did the healthcare exhibits, or like health science exhibits, things like that. So it was really, really good. It was just overall a really enjoyable, great museum to go to. But once again, kind of like the Residence, information oversaturation because there's so much there. It's just like those things about museums where how much of that information do you actually retain? Because you just end up absorbing, you try to absorb so much of it. Of course, it's a lot of information to take in all at once. Also, they had a model railway, which was adorable. That was quite nice. And then, so the Deutsches Museum took up pretty much a good portion of the day on that Thursday. So after we did the Deutsches Museum, Phil basically wanted to take a quick trip on the S-Bahn just out from Munich to a town called Wolfratshausen, because Phil has probably mentioned this before on the channel, maybe on a previous So Being Hunted episode, but when he was a kid, at one point his family lived out in Germany because his dad had to sort of move there as part of his job. But he used to live in a German town called Wolfratshausen, which is not too great of a train ride from Munich itself. And so we just took a quick sort of detour up to there, mainly just for Phil, to indulge in a bit of nostalgia and all that. So it was good for him to, go out and see basically an old sort of location that he was very familiar with from his childhood and all that. So, hopefully he enjoyed that quite a lot. I'm pretty sure he did, but yeah, there you go. So yeah, overall, that Germany trip was really, really enjoyable. It was really great to go. And I definitely recommend Munich as a destination. So basically, on the Friday, the 19th, we basically went to Munich airport and flew back and came back to the UK. Travelled back and all that. So, great stuff. So yeah, like I say, would you recommend Germany, Red, or Munich specifically as a, destination somewhere to go to? Absolutely. Because the thing is, what we explored is no doubt just a smattering of what is actually available to see in a city like Munich. The reality is there's tons and tons of stuff that you can potentially look at, see and do and all that, and we only just kind of looked at a smidgen of that. But above all else, it was good for us to actually go out and actually get abroad. Because I probably said this before, but the last time I went abroad was in 2013, and that was with my master's course when we went to Geneva. We went touring some of the international institutions like the UN and whatever else have you. Where are you fucking going? It's funny how the robot's pathing sometimes does that. They just sort of turn around really weirdly. Alright, go over here. Go over there. Get that. Boom. And, yeah, because like I say, Phil has probably been saying throughout previous episodes whenever he's been with me that he's been feeling ready for just a brief holiday, just to go abroad again, because of, the last sort of couple of years, what with the COVID lockdowns and work, of course, becoming all hectic and things like that as a result. So it was good to get abroad and just have a relaxing trip out, get away from life, get away from work for a bit. But yeah, that explains why basically between the 15th and 19th of August there were no video uploads on the channel, because I decided I wanted to take those days away. I mean, I know I could technically have scheduled the channel using my YouTube studio probably to actually release videos on those days, but to be honest, I couldn't be arsed doing that. And on top of that, whenever I release a video, I always like to make sure it gets shared to the Twitter and Facebook pages and then to my Steam account. And I don't know how to sort of automate that. I don't even know if there is a way to automate that. So I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to take a few days off and all that, and that'll be absolutely fine. And yes, people were absolutely understanding of that. It was good. Oh, man. But yeah, it makes me think now of, because the thing is, what I was always kind of concerned about with foreign travel was what were going to be the sort of rules and stipulations, obviously to do with like COVID and things like that. But fortunately, in the moment, when it comes to Germany, there are no sort of COVID-related travel restrictions at present, so you can just go over there. So we thought, fuck it, let's just do it. Let's just get over there now. Let's just book it in, lock it in and all that. And it was just as well that we did, because it was a good trip. So yeah, hopefully, there is some kind of normalcy coming back to foreign travel a little bit. So who knows, maybe in the next year or two or whatever, maybe, next couple of years, 2 or 3, however long, maybe when I've saved up a bit more money I can go abroad again somewhere. Who knows where I'd go. Maybe Italy, something like that, to go for a city break in Italy, like Florence or something, because I always want to go to Florence, actually. Florence is a great city in Italy, very historical, lots of stuff to see and do there, but that's something for me to think about in the future, maybe a year or 2 from now. We'll see. So yeah, it was a little podcast style episode, that, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to talk about mine and Phil's little Munich trip. It was good fun. It was very good stuff, but I'm thinking this is probably a good time to wrap this episode up. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble on about that for a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know in the comments though, have any of you been able to go abroad this year? If so, where did you go? Was it enjoyable? Would you recommend it and all that? Was it a city break full of museums and God knows what else? Or maybe you went for a different kind of holiday. Maybe you went somewhere sun, sea and sand related, or maybe you went somewhere snowy with skiing, rather. Who knows? Now, I'm kind of wanting to get back to the standing stones, but these assholes over here are going to be a bit of a problem. Because I'm probably going to actually record the next episode straight away, because I do have a topic in mind, so I want to record it whilst it's still fresh in my memory. Otherwise, knowing me, I'll end up sort of going away and then forgetting it. Can you guys please fuck off? Fuck it, maybe I'll just wrap up here and then just start recording straight away. Yeah, sure, I'll do that. You know what, Facebook and Twitter links down below, along with the links to my propagandist channel for anyone interested. And if you enjoyed, a like is always appreciated. More than that, I'm signing off now. Goodbye, everybody. Oh, balls to ya. Oh, motherfucker. Oh, come on, what am I stuck on? Why am I stuck on that thing? Come on, can you not just step over it? Yeah, come on over here. Oh, what? Can I not climb up there? I can. Okay, that's good. Right, yeah, you go over there. That's right. You go there, you do your thing, and I'll go and do mine. Like this. You son of a bitch. Right, I just need to quickly rejig like this. So then she can't deal with me. Pull that across there. You should be safe now, okay? Well, that is still technically open, but I imagine she can't get to me. Right, so now I need to figure the fucking escape route. How you're supposed to get out of here. So, once again, I'm just going to jump cut while I go and look at the friggin' walkthrough.